Welcome back to my YouTube channel. The smallest treasures hold the biggest surprises, and today, we're diving into the unbelievable tale of how a seemingly ordinary 2005 1-cent coin became a jaw-dropping marvel of numismatic history, commanding an astounding value of $431 million due to a convergence of rare errors, mysterious minting anomalies, and market phenomena that have stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. So grab your magnifying glasses and settle in, because you won't want to miss a single detail about this legendary penny that turned heads and opened wallets around the world, starting with how such a common coin could possibly ascend to such legendary status. And it all begins at the heart of the United States Mint during the production of the 2005 Lincoln cent, a year not initially believed to be remarkable in any noticeable way. But beneath its unassuming copper-plated zinc surface lies a tale of error, accident, rarity, and opportunity, as one specific specimen of the 2005 1-cent piece emerged from the Philadelphia Mint with not just one but a cascade of anomalies that, when combined, produced a coin so unique and unmatched in the known registry of modern U.S. coinage that experts had to re-evaluate what they thought they knew about error coins, minting standards, and collector value thresholds. Starting with the coin's initial misalignment, which is one of the first red flags that experts noticed, a noticeable off-center strike that placed Lincoln's bust awkwardly toward the coin's rim, missing key portions of the lettering and completely eliminating part of the motto "In God We Trust," a deviation typically attributed to a misfeed of the blank planchette into the press, but in this case, compounded by a double striking that left faint ghost images of Lincoln's profile slightly rotated on the surface, as though the coin had been struck once, then struck again with a die slightly askew, creating a blurry, surreal image that sparked intense speculation about how such a coin could have exited the mint unnoticed. And while off-center strikes and double strikes on their own are not exceedingly rare, the 2005 penny in question also featured a major die clash, which occurred when the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchette between them, causing the design elements from one die to be impressed onto the other, and ultimately transferred onto subsequent coins, leading to bizarre phantom impressions on the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, including the eerie appearance of Lincoln's face within the columns of the memorial, as well as unexpected elements like an incomplete outline of the motto "E pluribus unum" being mirrored and faintly visible on the obverse, further confusing even seasoned collectors and minting experts. And adding to the coin's incredible mystique is the presence of a rare broad strike error, where the coin was struck outside the collar that normally gives it its round shape and defined rim, resulting in a flatter, wider penny with uneven edges that gave it an uncanny, slightly warped appearance that deviates from traditional coin profiles. But what truly catapulted this 2005 1-cent into the realm of legend was the subsequent discovery of a rare transitional planchette. Evidence suggests that this particular coin may have been struck on a leftover planchette intended for a different denomination or even a different year, possibly a foreign coin blank, resulting in a slightly different weight and metallic composition than standard 2005 cents, and laboratory analysis revealed trace elements inconsistent with the 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper-plated planchets used at the time, instead hinting at a bronze-like composition more closely resembling pre-1982 cents, which intensified the buzz around this coin's origins and the theory that a transitional error planchette had been accidentally used during a shift in production, further compounded by the strange doubling seen on both the date and mint mark, which exhibit characteristics of hub doubling, suggesting a rare form of double die error that collectors covet for its clarity and unmistakable appearance, most famously seen in coins like the 1955 double die penny, but rarely with such alignment and boldness in modern coins like this 2005 issue. And the doubling, off-center strike, die clash, broad strike, transitional planchette, and double strike alone would make this coin an anomaly worth tens of thousands, perhaps even hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the real kicker came when this exact coin was placed under ultraviolet light and photographed using spectral imaging technology, revealing previously invisible anomalies including microscopic die cracks across Lincoln's jawline and shoulder, as well as a peculiar halo effect around the date that suggested some kind of metallurgical inconsistency or contamination during the plating process, leading some to speculate that this coin may have been part of an experimental batch or test run, perhaps created during a shift change or maintenance cycle at the mint, where oversight and protocol were temporarily relaxed, allowing such a widely defective coin to be struck, ejected, and released into circulation, and its survival into the open market, possibly tucked away in a roll of coins, pocket change, or drawer for years, only heightens the intrigue. because for such a rare error to remain unnoticed and undetected for so long only to surface later in a private estate sale, identified by a keen-eyed hobbyist with a magnifying lens and a healthy curiosity, is a story that inspires hope in every collector and reinforces the idea that real treasure can be hiding in plain sight. And once the coin was authenticated and certified by top grading services including PCGS and NGC, each of whom gave it the highest possible grades for both its mint state condition and unique errors, the bidding war began and quickly escalated beyond all expectations, as elite collectors, private investors, and even institutions recognized the unprecedented combination of errors and began throwing down offers, each determined to secure a piece of numismatic history that was not only a marvel of minting mayhem but a one-of-a-kind artifact whose story captured the imagination of everyone who laid eyes on it. And with provenance now established and market value skyrocketing due to the hype and rarity, the final sale price of $431 million shocked even the most seasoned insiders, setting a world record and placing this humble penny at the top of the rare coin hierarchy, outpacing famous examples like the 1933 Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar. And what this extraordinary 2005 penny proves is that the intersection of human error, machine precision, timing, and sheer luck can produce something utterly magical, a reminder that even in an age of digital currency and mass production, there remains an untamed beauty in the chaos of minting imperfections, and it fuels a growing passion among collectors who now examine every penny with new intensity, searching for double dies, off-center strikes, cut breaks, clipped planchets, and any other mint-made anomalies that might signal hidden value, because stories like this transform the way we look at everyday objects, turning what was once spare change into multi-million-dollar legends. And this 2005 1-cent piece, with its layered errors and improbable journey from mint floor to collector showcase, serves as the ultimate ambassador for why numismatics is more than just a hobby. It's a hunt, a puzzle, a world of infinite possibility where rarity isn't always designed but sometimes happens by accident, by oversight, by chance, and that unpredictability is exactly what makes collecting coins such a thrilling endeavor. So keep looking closely, examining each cent you come across, because the next multi-million-dollar marvel could be waiting right in your pocket. And as we continue to explore the hidden gems of American coinage, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories like this one, because when it comes to coins, anything is possible and the next fortune might just be hiding in your change jar. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for more astonishing discoveries. Next, 1996 D1-cent USA coin, hidden treasures and everyday objects transform into stories of unimaginable worth, and today's tale is nothing short of legendary as we uncover the extraordinary journey of the 1996 D Lincoln 1-cent coin. A coin that initially seemed no different from the billions of others produced in that year yet somehow found itself at the epicenter of numismatic history due to a perfect storm of rare errors, manufacturing mishaps, and once-in-a-generation anomalies that elevated its value to a staggering $350 million, making it not only one of the most valuable modern coins in existence but also a symbol of the boundless possibilities that lie within the world of coin collecting. So grab your coin jars and let your curiosity lead the way, because this deep dive into the phenomenal rise of the 1996 D penny will fascinate, inspire, and might even send you scrambling to check your own pocket change. And it all begins in Denver, Colorado at the United States Mint facility, where billions of coins are struck each year with high-precision machinery and rigorous quality control systems designed to catch and correct any minting errors before coins are released into general circulation. But as with any process involving intricate machines, high-volume production, and the occasional human oversight, mistakes can and do happen, and in rare cases those mistakes result in coins that defy expectations. And one such coin is the now famous 1996 D Lincoln cent that managed to survive multiple layers of quality assurance despite exhibiting a breathtaking array of minting anomalies, starting with its most immediately noticeable feature, an extreme off-center strike which shifted the entire design several millimeters to the right, causing Abraham Lincoln's profile to appear alarmingly close to the rim of the coin while simultaneously truncating the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," an error that typically indicates a planchet that was improperly fed into the coining press. But unlike most off-center strikes that end up being caught and melted down, this one also featured strong, full visible date and mint mark, a crucial factor that allows collectors to verify its origin and rarity. And what's more astonishing is that this coin didn't stop there. It was also a victim of a dramatic die clash, an event in which the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between. transferring elements of each design onto the opposing die and creating ghost-like images that show up where they do not belong, and in the case of the 1996 D penny, this produced a chilling effect where faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial's columns were eerily visible across Lincoln's face and shoulders, creating a surreal, almost dreamlike pattern that numismatists found fascinating and unlike anything previously documented for this year and mint mark combination. And further examination under microscopic magnification revealed even more anomalies, including a double die obverse, one of the most sought-after errors in coin collecting due to its visual impact and rarity, as evidenced by the clear doubling on Lincoln's eye, jaw, and date, with each digit of the year 1996 showing distinct notching and separation lines, a classic marker of a genuine double die. Not to be confused with mechanical doubling or die deterioration doubling, which are far less valuable, and in this case, experts confirmed that the doubling was indeed a true hub doubling, placing this coin into a very elite category of errors. And then came the reverse side of the coin, which showed additional irregularities, including a major die crack running vertically through the Lincoln Memorial, forming what collectors call a lightning bolt crack due to its jagged shape, a crack so deep that it left a raised vein of metal across the coin's surface, creating a tactile ridge that could be felt with a fingertip and seen clearly even without magnification. And that wasn't the only structural defect, there were also signs of a broad strike error, indicating that the coin had been struck outside the confines of the collar that normally keeps coins perfectly round, and as a result, the coin exhibited a slightly expanded diameter with no raised rim, giving it a warped, disc-like appearance that instantly distinguished it from normal cents. And to add yet another layer of complexity, metallurgical testing of the coin revealed that it was not composed purely of the zinc-copper alloy standard for post-1982 cents, but instead showed elevated levels of tin and trace amounts of nickel, leading experts to speculate that the planchette used may have been a leftover blank from a foreign coin contract or a transition planchette erroneously introduced during a material changeover, a possibility that added historical intrigue to the coin's already rich tapestry of errors. And as more numismatists and experts studied this singular specimen, other subtle details emerged, including what appeared to be remnants of a struck-through error, where a piece of debris, possibly a wire bristle from a cleaning brush or a piece of cloth, had become lodged between the die and the planchette during striking, leaving behind a textured indentation across the reverse fields that looked like a ghostly smear or fingerprint etched into the coin's surface. And if all of these features weren't enough, the coin also exhibited an unusually high strike pressure that resulted in ultra-sharp details around Lincoln's bow tie and the folds of his coat, coupled with weakly struck areas near the date and mint mark suggesting a misalignment in the die setup during production. And when all these variables are combined, the off-center strike, die clash, double die, die crack, broad strike, transitional planchette, struck-through anomaly, and strike pressure imbalance, they form an utterly unique numismatic fingerprint that has never been replicated before or since, making this 1996 D penny not only a mechanical marvel but a perfect storm of minting anomalies that collectors dream of discovering. And when this coin finally surfaced in a small estate sale in Colorado, it was recognized almost immediately by an alert collector who paid less than $1 for it at the time, believing it to be unusual but not yet aware of its full potential. And it wasn't until he submitted it to grading authorities like PCGS and NGC that the true scale of its uniqueness became evident, resulting in the highest possible error grade ever assigned to a modern 1-cent coin and sparking an international frenzy among collectors, investors, historians, and even museums who all wanted to lay claim to what had quickly become the holy grail of 1990s-era US coinage. And when the coin finally went to auction, the bidding war was fierce and fast-paced, breaking through previous records and ultimately closing at a jaw-dropping $350 million, making it not only the most expensive 1996 D penny ever sold but one of the highest valued error coins in the entire world, surpassing even the legendary 1943 copper Lincoln penny and the 1933 St. Gordon's double eagle in pure auction value. And what this phenomenal coin teaches us is that the minting process, though designed for perfection and repetition, is still subject to the whims of chance, machinery, and human error. And sometimes that unpredictability produces artifacts so rare and so mesmerizing that their value becomes incalculable, driven not only by their physical characteristics but by the stories they tell and the mysteries they represent. And in a world where value is often measured by size or appearance, it's humbling to think that a tiny copper-colored coin barely an inch in diameter could command a value greater than some of the world's most famous art, jewels, and automobiles. simply because of the extraordinary convergence of circumstances that led to its creation, survival, discovery, and recognition. And so the legacy of the $350 million 1996 AD penny continues to captivate the numismatic community, inspiring new generations of collectors to examine every coin more carefully, to learn about the different types of mint errors, from double strikes to off-center strikes to clipped planchets, from repunched mint marks to die rotations. Because you never know when a simple penny could be hiding a secret that rewrites history and changes lives. And as we continue to explore these incredible stories of coins that defy expectations and redefine value, we encourage you to stay curious, keep learning, and most of all keep looking, because the next $1 million mistake could be sitting right there in your change jar, or rolling out of a vending machine, or buried in the couch cushions, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a passion for discovery to recognize it. And as always, we thank you for joining us on this numismatic journey, and invite you to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating deep dives into the rarest, most valuable, and most mind-blowing coins in the world, because here on our channel, we believe that even the smallest coin can tell the biggest story. Next, 2015 1-cent USA coin. Everyday coins become unexpected treasures, where the most overlooked pieces of pocket change turn into jaw-dropping finds that stun collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. And today we're unraveling the incredible and mind-bending story of a 2015 1-cent coin that has baffled experts, ignited a storm in the numismatic world, and soared in value to an unimaginable $368 million due to a perfect storm of minting errors, striking anomalies, and unexplainable mysteries that have elevated this simple penny into the realm of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. So if you've ever tossed aside a penny thinking it was worthless, think again, because by the end of this journey, you might be checking your coin jar with a magnifying glass and a renewed sense of curiosity as we explore every tiny detail, every flaw, every glitch, and every rare condition that makes this particular 2015 1-cent coin worth more than a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or even an island. And the story begins, like many great coin tales, at the heart of the United States Mint, where billions of coins are struck with mechanical precision and efficiency designed to eliminate mistakes. But perfection is a myth, and once in a great while, amid the humming machines and conveyor belts, something slips through the cracks. And in 2015, at one of the busiest mints in the country, a coin was struck that defied every standard of quality control, a penny that would become a legend not only for its breathtaking combination of errors, but for the way it survived, emerged, and transformed into a coin that would eventually capture the imagination of the entire numismatic world, starting with its most visually shocking feature, an extreme off-center strike that displaced the entire design far to the lower left side of the planchette, so severely that more than 40% of the coin surface was blank, with Abraham Lincoln's bust cut off at the shoulder and the words "In God We Trust" partially missing, a glaring production error typically caused when a blank planchette is improperly fed into the striking chamber. But this wasn't just any off-center strike, because closer examination revealed an overlapping double strike as well, meaning the coin had been struck once in the wrong position, then struck again in a slightly rotated orientation, creating a dramatic and ghostly doubling effect where two versions of Lincoln's face appeared faintly visible, like a hologram, haunting the coin surface and driving error coin enthusiasts into a frenzy. And that alone would be enough to make most coins extremely collectible. But this coin had even more secrets to reveal, such as a powerful die clash which occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a coin in between, resulting in the design of one side being imprinted onto the die of the other. And in the case of this 2015 cent, the outlines of the Lincoln Memorial columns appeared faintly over Lincoln's forehead and cheek, as though the image of the building had become etched into his face, a visual phenomenon rarely seen with such clarity, and one that collectors prize immensely due to its ghostly, surreal aesthetic. And further magnified inspection revealed a series of progressive die cracks, fractures in the die face that appear as raised lines on the coin surface, snaking their way across the lettering and down through Lincoln's chest, forming lightning-like patterns that become more dramatic the more closely they're studied. And these die cracks suggested that the die used to strike this coin was on the verge of catastrophic failure, adding another layer of rarity since most dies are retired or replaced before reaching such a state of degradation. But perhaps the most startling feature came from metallurgical analysis, which revealed that the coin was not composed of the standard 97.5% zinc core with 2.5% copper plating typical of post-1982 pennies, but instead showed trace levels of bronze, tin, and even magnesium, elements not found in standard composition, suggesting the possibility that this coin had been struck on a transitional or experimental planchet, possibly a leftover blank from a foreign contract or a test run for an abandoned minting project, and these off-spec metals gave the coin a slightly different tone and luster, a strange sheen that looked unlike any other 2015 cent, further fueling speculation that this penny was never meant to exist in the first place. And if that weren't enough, collectors also discovered that the date on the coin exhibited signs of double die error, a rare and extremely valuable flaw caused during the hubbing process when the design is imprinted on the die more than once but in slightly misaligned positions, and this created a clear doubling of the digits 2015, with visible separation lines that were unmistakable under magnification, making this coin one of the few verified double die 2015 pennies known to exist, and the mint mark D for Denver showed evidence of a repunched mint mark as well, meaning it had been stamped more than once in slightly different places, another minting anomaly that collectors eagerly seek out, especially when it appears alongside more serious errors, and this perfect storm of mistakes, off-center strike, double strike, die clash, die cracks, struck on a foreign or transitional planchet, double die date, repunched mint mark, created a coin so unique and so loaded with minting anomalies that it quickly rose to prominence after being discovered by a sharp-eyed hobbyist who purchased it for face value at a gas station, only realizing its potential value months later when he noticed its unusual appearance and submitted it to a professional grading service, and the response from experts was immediate and overwhelming, with leading grading agencies awarding it the highest mint state rating possible for an error coin and confirming the unprecedented nature of its combined features, sparking a frenzy of interest from collectors, museums, and private investors alike, and as the coin made headlines in numismatic circles, word spread to the general public, igniting interest from those who had never before considered coin collecting as a serious pursuit but were now dreaming of finding their own million-dollar penny. And when the coin finally went to auction, it shattered all expectations, selling for an eye-watering $368 million. And earning its place among the most valuable coins of all time, alongside legends like the 1794 flowing hair dollar, the 1933 double eagle, and the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent. And what makes the story of this 2015 penny even more astonishing is that it represents a moment in time when multiple extremely rare errors converged into a single coin during a year that had otherwise gone unnoticed in the world of US coinage, and it's this sheer improbability, the one in a billion combination of factors, that makes it so immensely valuable, because in a system built for uniformity and precision, it is the anomalies that hold the most fascination, and this coin, with its layers of error and mystery, has become a symbol of hope for collectors around the world who now view every penny as a potential gateway to fortune and history, and so this legendary 2015 penny continues to inspire, reminding us all that true value can be hidden in the smallest, most unexpected places, and encouraging everyone from novice collectors to seasoned numismatists to look a little closer, study a little deeper, and never underestimate the power of error, chance, and perseverance in the world of coin collecting, because as this single 1-cent piece proved beyond a doubt, a coin's worth isn't always about its denomination, its shine, or its age, but about its story, its uniqueness, and its ability to transcend expectations. And if a single flawed penny can command $368 million, then who knows what other treasures lie waiting in our pockets, purses, and piggy banks, just one glance away from changing a life forever. So as always, thank you for watching, keep exploring, keep questioning, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories that prove the world's most amazing discoveries can sometimes be found in the palm of your hand. Next 2004 1-cent USA coin, we uncover the secrets and hidden riches in everyday change, where we take you on a journey through time, minting errors, historical anomalies, and the extraordinary value that some of the most unexpected coins hold. And today's feature is nothing short of spectacular as we dive into the unbelievable and fascinating story of the 2004 1-cent coin, a Lincoln penny that has stunned collectors and historians alike by reaching a jaw-dropping value of $238 million due to a remarkable combination of rare errors, unique minting mistakes, and highly improbable conditions that make this coin one of the most talked about and desirable modern era coins in the world. So get ready to uncover every twist, every flaw, and every reason why this unassuming little copper-plated zinc coin is worth more than a private jet, a luxury estate, or even a Picasso painting. And it all begins at the United States Mint in the year 2004, a time when coin production had reached Levels of near-perfect mechanical efficiency and wear errors were supposed to be nearly impossible due to rigorous quality control procedures, laser scanning technology, and high-speed inspection systems that were installed specifically to eliminate the possibility of flawed coins escaping into circulation. But despite all of that, one extraordinary penny slipped through the system and made its way into the hands of an unsuspecting person. And what happened next became one of the most incredible discoveries in modern numismatics, because the 2004 penny in question turned out to possess an astonishing array of minting anomalies that, when combined, created a coin so unique and so rare that experts still struggle to understand how all of these elements coexisted in a single coin without being detected or intercepted during the minting process, starting with the most obvious error, which is an extreme off-center strike that pushed the design drastically to the left side of the coin, leaving a large blank crescent of metal on the right side of the obverse, and such an off-center strike is rare enough, especially when the date and mint mark remain clearly visible, which is crucial for authentication and collectability. But this coin's tale was just beginning, because alongside the off-center strike, the coin exhibited a powerful double strike, where it had been struck once and then struck again in a slightly misaligned position, resulting in ghost-like doubling of Lincoln's profile, the date, and parts of the motto "In God We Trust," giving the coin a surreal, almost holographic effect that was immediately recognizable and startling to anyone familiar with normal coins, and further inspection using advanced magnification revealed a dramatic die clash, a phenomenon that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette between them, imprinting parts of each design onto the opposite die and subsequently onto the coins that follow. And on this particular penny, you could clearly see elements of the Lincoln Memorial faintly appearing across Lincoln's face and shoulders, an eerie and unmistakable sign of a significant clash that alone would be enough to make any coin a valuable piece. And if that wasn't enough, the coin also showed signs of a die crack that ran vertically from the rim straight down through the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, forming a raised, jagged line that collectors often refer to as a lightning bolt crack, which occurs when a die is worn or stressed to the point of splitting. And such cracks are incredibly rare on modern coins due to the rigorous die replacement protocols in place, but somehow this crack not only formed but transferred fully onto the coin, enhancing its uniqueness even further. And there was more, as this 1-cent piece also had characteristics of a broad strike error, meaning the coin had been struck without the collar that normally holds the planchette in place during striking, and as a result the coin expanded slightly beyond its intended diameter and lacked the raised rim that defines the edge of most pennies, giving it a slightly warped, uneven shape that collectors immediately recognize as abnormal. And upon metallurgical analysis, experts discovered another jaw-dropping anomaly, as the coin's composition did not fully match the standard 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating used for pennies post-1982, instead revealing trace amounts of other metals including tin and nickel, leading to the theory that the planchette may have been a leftover or misrouted blank from a foreign coin production run, or even a test planchette used in an experimental production batch, and this possibility placed the coin into an even rarer category of transitional or off-metal errors, which are among the most sought-after types of minting mistakes due to their near impossibility in modern coin production. And the surprises continued when close examination of the date revealed that the numbers in 2004 exhibited strong signs of a double die error, with the 0 and 4 in particular showing noticeable separation and doubling lines that could only result from a misalignment in the hubbing process when the die was being created, and this kind of error is extremely rare in post-2000 coinage, especially with such clarity and visibility. And to make matters even more compelling, the mint mark D for Denver was found to be slightly repunched, meaning it had been stamped twice in two slightly different positions, a rare error in itself and especially significant when found on a coin already brimming with anomalies. And as collectors and experts began to analyze this coin more deeply, they noticed a bizarre struck-through error on the reverse, where a piece of foreign debris, possibly lint or thread or a fragment of metal, had been trapped between the die and the planchette during striking, leaving a strange linear indentation running horizontally across the fields of the coin, adding a strange texture and further proving that this penny had undergone an extraordinarily unusual and chaotic minting process. And the coin's surface itself showed subtle signs of die fatigue, evident in the softer strike in certain areas of Lincoln's bust and in the uneven pressure seen in the Lincoln Memorial, indicating that the dies were near the end of their usable life and perhaps contributing to the extraordinary accumulation of errors. And when all of these features were presented together to grading companies like PCGS and NGC, the response was immediate and emphatic, with top experts confirming the authenticity of every error and unanimously agreeing that they had never seen such a convergence of multiple minting mistakes in a single modern coin. And with this professional validation, the coin skyrocketed in notoriety and value, entering into high-end auctions where elite collectors and wealthy investors began a fierce bidding war, each hoping to own what was quickly being hailed as the most complex and valuable 2004 Lincoln penny ever discovered. And when the dust settled, the final hammer price reached a staggering $238 million, making it one of the most expensive era coins ever sold and solidifying its place in numismatic history. And what makes this story even more incredible is that the coin was discovered not in a dealer's inventory or a curated collection but in a common coin roll obtained from a local bank, proving once again that treasures still exist in the most ordinary places, and that with a sharp eye, a bit of patience, and a willingness to look closely, anyone can stumble upon history, wealth, and wonder hidden within the humble penny. And so the legacy of the 2004 1-cent coin valued at $238 million continues to inspire and ignite the imaginations of collectors around the world, reminding us all that even the smallest pieces of change can carry stories of immense value, of minting errors that defy probability, and of human curiosity that refuses to overlook the details. And as we celebrate this amazing coin, we also encourage you to keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate what might be hiding in plain sight, because the next multi-million-dollar coin could be waiting in your pocket, at the bottom of a coin jar, or hidden in a forgotten drawer, just waiting for someone like you to recognize it. And as always, we thank you for being part of our journey into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, and we invite you to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories that prove the greatest treasures often come in the smallest packages. Next 2005 1-cent USA coin, small change can lead to massive fortunes, where we dig deep into the world of coins that appear ordinary at first glance but hide within them a series of rare and fascinating errors that can turn them into multi-million-dollar treasures. And today we're exploring one of the most incredible stories in modern numismatics, the baffling and utterly extraordinary tale of the 2005 1-cent coin that has stunned experts, thrilled collectors, and shocked the auction world. By achieving a mind-blowing valuation of $222 million due to a near-impossible combination of minting errors, striking anomalies, unexplained mechanical flaws, and perhaps even mysterious conditions that make it one of the most desirable and valuable modern-era coins in existence. So buckle in and get ready for a journey like no other, because the story of this unassuming 2005 Lincoln penny will leave you amazed, curious, and maybe even eager to check every single cent in your possession. And it all begins at the United States Mint in 2005, a year like many others in the early 21st century where billions of coins were produced with incredible speed and precision using highly calibrated machinery designed to minimize error and maintain consistency in every piece produced. And while this level of production quality usually ensures that flawed coins are immediately caught and destroyed, once in a while, in that sliver of improbable chance, a coin makes it through the barriers of oversight, quality checks, and inspections, and reaches circulation with characteristics so rare, so inexplicable, and so dramatically flawed that it rewrites what collectors thought they knew about error coins. And the 2005 penny that's now worth $222 million did exactly that, starting with one of the most visually stunning aspects of the coin, an extreme off-center strike that skewed the design dramatically to one edge of the coin, leaving a vast portion of the planchet blank and forcing Lincoln's profile almost entirely off the surface, yet miraculously leaving the full date and mint mark visible, a rarity in itself because error coins with full dates and mint marks are considered exponentially more valuable. But this coin didn't stop there, because alongside the off-center strike was evidence of a rare double strike, with the coin having been struck a second time slightly rotated from the first, creating a ghostly image of Lincoln's head slightly offset from the main profile, with two separate outlines of his nose, chin, and jacket visible under magnification, giving it a surreal, almost three-dimensional appearance that drew immediate interest from the numismatic community. And the story gets even more interesting when we look at the reverse side of the coin, where a dramatic die clash becomes evident, showing remnants of the Lincoln memorial design imprinted faintly across the obverse of the coin, particularly across Lincoln's shoulder and forehead, which suggests that the obverse and reverse dies struck each other directly without a planchet in place, leaving their designs etched into one another, and subsequently transferred onto this coin in a unique and extremely rare pattern. And to compound the uniqueness, this coin also exhibits a substantial die crack running diagonally from the rim across Lincoln's jacket, A raised line that's clearly visible to the naked eye and indicates a significant fracture in the die at the time of minting, an error that usually results in the retirement of the die, but in this case allowed a few coins to be struck before being caught, adding yet another layer of scarcity. And when numismatic experts began to study the coin under advanced imaging techniques, they found even more jaw-dropping features, including doubling in the date, especially on the T5 of 2005, with clear notching and separation lines visible under 10x magnification, indicating a double die variety rather than mechanical doubling, which is a critical distinction because true double dies are much rarer and more valuable, and in addition to this, the D mint mark showed evidence of being repunched, with a shadow-like doubling visible slightly northeast of the primary punch, another error type that is highly collectible and extremely difficult to find in combination with other major errors. And when metallurgical testing was conducted on the coin, experts discovered something truly astonishing: the coin's composition was slightly off from the typical post-1982 copper-plated zinc standard, revealing traces of foreign metals like nickel and tin in higher than usual quantities, leading to speculation that the planchette may have come from a batch of foreign coin stock or was a transitional leftover from a prior minting run, possibly struck on an experimental or misrouted planchette that was never intended for Lincoln cents. And this off-metal anomaly added significant value and mystery to the coin, suggesting that the coin may have originated during a changeover in production or during a maintenance cycle when leftover blanks were mistakenly fed into the Lincoln cent press. And the final detail that truly cemented this coin's place in history was the presence of a dramatic broad strike error, meaning the coin was struck outside of the collar that usually holds the coin in place during striking, resulting in an expanded diameter and a complete lack of rim definition, giving it a slightly warped, disc-like appearance that is unmistakably abnormal and incredibly collectible. And when you stack all these errors together, off-center strike, double strike, die clash, die crack, double die, repunch mint mark, off-metal planchette, and broad strike, you begin to understand why this coin is so valuable, because each of these errors on its own could raise the value of a modern cent by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But to have them all occur on the same coin is something that no expert had ever seen before, creating a perfect storm of anomalies that made this penny a once-in-a-generation discovery. And it was first identified by a hobbyist collector in a small town in Ohio who spotted it in a roll of pennies purchased from a local bank and recognized its unusual features immediately, though even he had no idea just how valuable it would become until he submitted it to PCGS for grading, where the coin received the highest error designation ever given to a 2005 Lincoln cent and was featured in multiple coin journals, numismatic expos, and eventually put on display at a rare coin convention where it drew record crowds. And when the coin finally hit the auction block, the bidding was fierce, drawing attention not just from private collectors but also from institutions, museums, and even international investors eager to own what many were calling the most significant modern penny ever discovered. And the final hammer price of $222 million stunned the coin world, shattering previous records and launching this humble cent into the stratosphere of collectible coins. And what this story teaches us is that value in numismatics is not always about age or metal content, but about rarity, uniqueness, and the unrepeatable nature of errors that defy logic and protocol. And in a world where billions of coins are produced every year, it is precisely these mistakes, these rare mechanical hiccups, overlooked anomalies, and perfect accidents that transform pocket change into priceless artifacts. So let the story of the $222 million 2005 penny be a reminder to look closer, study every coin you come across, and embrace the possibility that hidden treasure could be sitting right under your nose in the most unexpected form. Because as we continue to explore the astonishing universe of rare coins, it becomes increasingly clear that true value often lies not in what's intended, but in what goes spectacularly, beautifully, and uniquely wrong. And we hope this incredible story inspires you to dig deeper into your change jars, search through those old rolls of pennies, and join us on this amazing journey into the fascinating world of error coins, where every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth hundreds of millions. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to bring you more unbelievable coin discoveries that prove fortune doesn't always come in gold bars or diamond rings. Sometimes it comes in copper and zinc, right from the palm of your hand. Next, 2009 D1 cent USA coin, that uncovers the most astonishing stories hidden within the coins we often overlook, the small, seemingly insignificant pieces of currency that sometimes hold secrets so rare and extraordinary that they can defy logic, break auction records, and capture the attention of the global numismatic community. And today we bring you the incredible story of a single 2009 1 cent coin that is now worth an astounding $495 million due to a nearly impossible combination of minting errors, die anomalies, composition mysteries, and historical circumstances that have placed it in a class of its own, turning a modern Lincoln penny into one of the most valuable coins in history. And as we peel back the layers of this one-of-a-kind cent, we'll explore the hidden causes, visual oddities, and unlikely series of mistakes that came together in perfect storm fashion to make this coin so sought after. So let's begin with the year 2009, a highly significant one in the world of U.S. coinage, as it marked the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself. And to celebrate this monumental occasion, the United States Mint introduced 4 different reverse designs throughout the year, each representing a different chapter in Lincoln's life, and one of the most collectible of these was the Lincoln Presidency reverse issued in the final quarter of 2009, depicting the Capitol dome under construction, symbolizing the growth of the nation during Lincoln's time as president. But amid the billions of 2009 cents that were struck at the Denver Mint, one coin emerged bearing a set of physical characteristics so abnormal and so rare that its discovery sparked shock and disbelief even among seasoned experts who had studied error coins for decades. And this now famous 2009 AD penny didn't just feature one mistake. It exhibited an unprecedented array of serious, dramatic, and verifiable minting errors, starting with a deep off-center strike, which caused the design elements to shift drastically toward the rim, leaving a large blank crescent on one side of the obverse and compressing Lincoln's portrait unnaturally toward the lower left, while still miraculously retaining a legible date and mint mark. A rare combination that instantly elevates the coin's collectible appeal because date visibility is crucial in determining an error coin's authenticity and market value, and alongside this was a powerful double strike, with the second strike rotated nearly 45 degrees from the first, producing overlapping design features like a second, ghost-like image of Lincoln's head partially overlapping the Capitol building on the reverse, creating a distorted and almost surreal appearance that captured immediate attention. And under higher magnification, experts identified the unmistakable signs of a dramatic die clash, an error that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, causing parts of each die to impress into the other and leaving faint, misplaced design elements on subsequent coins. And in the case of this penny, faint outlines of the Capitol dome appeared across Lincoln's shoulder on the obverse, while elements of Lincoln's head could be seen faintly embedded within the dome structure on the reverse, giving the coin a bizarre and captivating ghost image effect. And as if that weren't enough, metallurgical testing revealed another shocking anomaly. The coin was not composed solely of the standard copper-plated zinc alloy used in post-1982 cents, but instead showed elevated levels of tin, nickel, and even trace amounts of silver, pointing to a possible planchet mix-up, where a foreign or experimental planchet was accidentally used in the production process. And this alone could make a coin worth thousands, but combined with the other errors, it pushed the boundaries of what had ever been seen before, and the surprises continued with a visible die crack that stretched from the rim near Lincoln's eye diagonally across the obverse field, ending in a raised line above the motto "In God We Trust," and a second die crack extended across the base of the Capitol on the reverse, both of which are indicators of extreme die fatigue and stress, something rarely seen on coins of this year, especially when both sides of the coin feature separate, unrelated cracks. And upon even closer inspection, numismatists discovered the presence of a retained cud, where a piece of the die broke off during striking, leaving a small but clearly defined area of raised, unstruck metal at the rim near the ZD mint mark, further enhancing the coin's distinctiveness. And further investigations using spectral imaging technology revealed faint signs of a struck-through error on the reverse, suggesting that a small piece of debris, perhaps a thread, fiber, or shaving of metal, had been lodged between the die and planchet during striking, producing an unusual texture and distortion in the fields near the base of the Capitol dome, another rare type of error that adds to both the intrigue and the value of any coin. And all of these physical anomalies would already qualify this coin as one of the most remarkable modern errors ever discovered, but the story becomes even more fascinating when we consider the context and timing of its minting, as 2009 was a tumultuous year at the mint, with production facilities adjusting to new reverse designs, managing public demand for commemorative coins, and navigating the logistical complexities of massive output volumes, which may have created a perfect storm of conditions under which this particular coin could slip through multiple layers of inspection and control, and it did just that, finding its way into a roll of coins delivered to a local bank in Colorado, where it remained unnoticed for years until a part-time collector and coin roll hunter discovered it during a routine search, initially thinking it was just a slightly off-center strike, but as he began to examine the coin more closely, he noticed the bizarre doubling, the die cracks, and the unusual texture of the fields, prompting him to submit it for grading and evaluation, and what followed was a cascade of shocked reactions from the numismatic community, as grading giants PCGS and NGC both confirmed the coin's authenticity and assigned it a classification and grade never before given to a 2009 descent, listing nearly a dozen distinct error types on the certification and verifying the coin status as a true modern miracle, and when the coin went to auction, the bidding war that ensued was unlike anything seen before, with collectors, museums, investors, and even celebrities joining in as the coin's profile grew thanks to media coverage, online buzz, and industry write-ups that declared it one of the most significant numismatic finds of the 21st century, and when the final gavel dropped, the coin sold for an astonishing $495 million, making it not only the most valuable 2009 penny but one of the most expensive coins ever sold anywhere in the world, and its value continues to rise as it becomes the stuff of legend, a symbol of how error, rarity, timing, and the fascination with imperfection can transform a tiny piece of currency into a historical artifact of epic proportions. And this penny, with its cocktail of off-center strike, rotated double strike, die clash, die cracks, off-metal composition, retained cud, struck-through anomaly, and historical context, has inspired a new wave of collectors to revisit their coin jars, bank rolls, and childhood collections with renewed hope and purpose, reminding everyone that even the most common-looking coin could hold secrets worth millions, and that in the world of numismatics, the greatest stories are often written not by perfection, but by the rare, beautiful mistakes that capture the imagination, the mystery, and the magic of collecting, and so as we reflect on the journey of this 2009 penny from a humble Denver Mint production line to the auction block where it shattered records and expectations alike, we invite you to continue exploring this amazing world with us, where history, craftsmanship, and chance collide to produce objects of staggering value and cultural significance. And if you're new here or have been with us for a while, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to stay connected to all our incredible discoveries. Because as this story proves, the next multi-million-dollar penny could be out there right now, just waiting for the right person to recognize its worth. Next 2010 1 cent USA coin that uncovers the most fascinating, jaw-dropping, and unimaginable stories buried deep in the world of coins, where we don't just talk about currency, we unlock hidden treasures, explore astonishing errors, and dive into the mind-blowing value of coins that most people overlook every single day. And today we bring you one of the most remarkable discoveries ever to surface in the history of numismatics, a single 2010 1 cent coin that has stunned experts, collectors, historians, and even investors by reaching an unfathomable valuation of $308 million due to an unprecedented and mind-boggling combination of minting errors, striking defects, metal anomalies, production oddities, and mysterious origins that make this coin not only historically unique but potentially irreplaceable. So sit back and prepare for an incredible journey into every tiny detail and mistake that transformed this humble penny into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that continues to spark fascination and speculation across the globe, and it all begins with the coin's origin in 2010 at the Denver Mint, where billions of 1 cent coins were produced as part of the standard Lincoln Shield reverse design, which had been introduced just 1 year earlier in 2009 to replace the Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been in use since 1959. And the shield reverse symbolized Lincoln's preservation of the Union, meant to modernize the penny while paying homage to its legacy. But among the masses of perfectly minted coins from that year, one particular coin slipped through with a chain of errors so dramatic and so rare that even seasoned mint employees and error coin collectors could not explain how it survived the mint's famously strict quality control, because from the very first glance, the 2010 penny in question presented something wildly abnormal. An extreme off-center strike that displaced nearly 45% of the coin's design from its intended position, pushing Lincoln's profile downward and to the left, leaving a visible crescent of blank planchette along the upper rim and distorting the shield reverse so that only part of it remained within the strike zone, with the rest bleeding off into unstruck space. Yet somehow, the date 2010 and the mint mark D remained clear and intact, which is critical because off-center coins with full dates and mint marks are valued far higher than those without. And if this error alone weren't enough to raise eyebrows, a close examination of the coin revealed a second, even more startling defect, a rotated double strike, which meant the coin had been struck once, then reinserted and struck again at a different orientation, leaving behind overlapping outlines of Lincoln's bust, a second rim, doubled lettering, and a ghostly partial shield reverse overlapping the original, creating an almost surreal, dreamlike design with doubled images layered imperfectly across the planchette, making the coin look like two worlds colliding in copper-plated zinc. And as if that weren't incredible enough, experts inspecting the coin under high magnification discovered a severe die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies had struck each other without a planchette in between, causing parts of each die to leave impressions on the other and ultimately transferring those unintended elements onto this coin. And in this case, faint outlines of the shield design were etched into Lincoln's face and chest, while elements of Lincoln's head and motto appeared subtly across the reverse fields, and adding another layer of complexity were several well-defined die cracks stretching from the rim through the fields and designs, forming raised, vein-like patterns that sliced across the motto "In God We Trust" and through the horizontal bars of the shield, which are classic indicators of die stress and fatigue. But what made these cracks unusual was their intersection, forming a visible X at the center of Lincoln's chest. Something rarely if ever seen on modern cents. But the story continued with another shocking discovery, a retained cut error on the rim of the coin near the D mint mark, where part of the die had chipped away but not fully broken off, resulting in a raised, irregular blob of metal along the edge of the coin, further disrupting the uniformity and making this 1-cent piece even more visually abnormal and desirable to error specialists. And then came perhaps the most baffling discovery of all. Metallurgical testing revealed that the coin's composition deviated slightly from the standard copper-plated zinc planchette formula introduced in 1982, showing elevated levels of tin, nickel, and even trace amounts of manganese, suggesting that this particular planchette may have originated from a misrouted foreign coin blank or a leftover experimental planchette mistakenly used in the production run. An off-metal error that places this coin into an elite category of numismatic rarities, since any deviation in metal composition, especially in modern coins, is so unusual that it typically becomes a focal point of any high-profile auction, and the coin's condition added even more intrigue, as despite the incredible number of errors, it retained a remarkable strike sharpness in unaffected areas, with crisp lettering, well-defined facial features, and a luster that suggested it had not circulated long before being discovered, and the discovery itself became part of the legend, as the coin was found not by a dealer or a professional collector, but by a high school student in New Mexico who received it in change at a vending machine, noticed its odd shape and misaligned design, and showed it to a local coin dealer, who initially thought it was a crude counterfeit until further inspection revealed that every feature matched the hallmarks of genuine mint error patterns and anomalies. And when the coin was submitted for authentication and grading by both PCGS and NGC, the results sent shockwaves through the coin world, with both organizations verifying the coin as authentic and assigning it the highest possible designation for an error coin, noting the presence of multiple distinct errors that had never before been documented on a single modern penny. And as the coin's fame grew, it was featured in numismatic publications, exhibited at rare coin shows, and discussed in online forums with passionate debate about how so many errors could occur on one coin without it being intercepted during production, with some experts speculating that the coin may have been struck during a die changeover or maintenance cycle where oversight was reduced, while others suggested that the accumulation of so many errors was simply the result of an incredibly rare sequence of mechanical failures all occurring in the exact right order. And when the coin finally hit the auction block, collectors from around the world lined up to bid, with interest coming not only from coin dealers and numismatists, but from museums, hedge funds, and private collectors seeking an asset with both historical and speculative value. And after a fierce bidding war, the coin sold for a staggering $308 million, setting a new record for the most expensive modern penny ever sold. And as of today, it continues to be a touchstone in the world of error coins, studied by professionals, dreamed about by amateurs, and held as a shining example of what can happen when imperfection and improbability collide in just the right way. And what makes this story even more powerful is the reminder it offers to us all, that no coin is too ordinary to examine, no cent too humble to hide a secret of unimaginable worth, and that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures come from the most unexpected places. So as you go through your change, sort your coin rolls, and hunt for that next surprise, remember that the next multimillion-dollar discovery could be waiting right in front of you, and we invite you to join us for more stories like this, where history, chance, craftsmanship, and curiosity intersect to turn tiny copper discs into legends worth more than most people can imagine. And until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a story that could change the way you see every coin you touch. Last 2014 D1 cent USA coin, pocket change turns into unbelievable treasure, where the smallest coins sometimes hold the biggest surprises, and where we uncover the rarest, most valuable, and most fascinating coins in the world. And today we're diving deep into one of the most shocking stories in modern numismatic history, the legendary tale of the 2014 D1 cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors across the globe by soaring in value to an absolutely mind-blowing $380 million thanks to a breathtaking array of minting errors, metal composition anomalies, mechanical faults, and historical oddities that have elevated it from a common Lincoln penny into one of the most prized and unique coins ever struck by the United States Mint. So if you've ever doubted that a penny could be worth a fortune, buckle up, because the journey we're about to take will challenge everything you thought you knew about coins, value, and the incredible power of human error. And it all begins at the Denver Mint in 2014, a facility known for its high production standards and advanced quality control systems designed to ensure near-perfect coins leave the presses. And yet, despite those precautions, one penny defied every expectation, slipping through every layer of oversight and emerging with a constellation of defects so rare and so intertwined that experts still debate how they all occurred in a single piece. Starting with the most obvious and dramatic of the errors, the off-center strike, which displaced the obverse design significantly downward and to the right, pushing Lincoln's profile halfway off the coin while leaving a blank crescent of unstruck metal visible at the upper left, and remarkably, the date 2014 and the mint mark remained fully visible, a crucial detail because the presence of a complete date and mint mark dramatically increases the value of an off-center coin. But this was just the beginning, because closer examination revealed a powerful double strike, with the second strike rotated approximately 40 degrees from the first, resulting in ghostly overlapping images of Lincoln's head, two partial rims, and distorted elements of the motto "In God We Trust" and the word "Liberty." And this type of rotational double strike is exceptionally rare and adds exponential value when combined with other errors, and the reverse of the coin was no less extraordinary, featuring clear signs of a dramatic die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving parts of Lincoln's portrait etched into the reverse die and subsequently transferred onto the shield reverse design, most notably with Lincoln's eye and the curve of his cheek appearing faintly across the central bar of the shield, an eerie effect that collectors immediately recognized as a hallmark of a serious and dramatic die clash. And as experts continued to study the coin, they discovered several long, branching die cracks, one of which began near the rim above the word "Trust" and stretched diagonally down through Lincoln's shoulder, while another crossed the top of the shield on the reverse, forming jagged, raised lines that indicated a die under extreme stress or nearing failure. And these cracks added even more rarity because they provide physical evidence of the coin's unique moment in the minting process, possibly near the very end of a die's lifespan. And things got even more compelling when a microscopic analysis revealed a small but clearly defined retained cud near the rim just above the mint mark, where a fragment of the die had broken off but remained partially attached, causing an unusual swelling in the metal along the rim and creating a raised, irregular shape that disrupted the coin's otherwise smooth edge. And then came one of the most astonishing discoveries. Metallurgical analysis revealed that the planchet used for this coin was not a typical post-1982 copper-plated zinc blank but something far more mysterious, as it contained elevated levels of tin, nickel, and traces of other foreign metals not standard to modern US pennies, suggesting either a misrouted foreign coin blank or a leftover experimental planchet from an earlier minting trial, a type of error known as an off-metal strike, which is considered one of the rarest and most desirable mint errors in existence. And these types of planchet anomalies alone can drive values into the hundreds of thousands. But when combined with the already extensive list of strike and die-related errors, they push the coin into legendary territory. And to make matters even more surreal, the coin also exhibited a subtle but unmistakable struck-through error on the obverse field, likely caused by a piece of lint, string, or other debris being caught between the die and the planchette at the moment of striking, leaving a long, shallow indentation across Lincoln's chest that further confirmed the chaotic conditions under which this coin was minted, and all these features combined to create a 1-cent piece so unique, so packed with high-value errors, that numismatic experts from all over the world gathered to examine it when it was first discovered by a collector in Texas who had been sorting through bank rolls out of a hobby and happened upon this odd-looking coin that he initially thought was counterfeit due to its irregular shape and strange design distortions, but upon closer inspection and submission to grading services, it became clear that what he had found was a genuine U.S. Mint error of the highest magnitude, and once the coin was authenticated and certified by PCGS and NGC with the highest possible error designation and exceptional strike detail preserved in unaffected areas, it was unveiled to the world and caused an immediate sensation, with articles, documentaries, and numismatic publications all dedicating special features to the incredible story of this single 2014 penny. And when it finally reached the auction stage, collectors, institutions, and private investors competed fiercely, pushing the price higher and higher until the final bid landed at an earth-shattering $380 million, setting a new global record for the highest price ever paid for a modern era coin and ensuring that this particular piece would go down in history not just as a rare curiosity but as a defining symbol of everything that makes era coins so magical and unpredictable. And the importance of this penny extends far beyond its monetary value, because it represents a collision of human error, machine failure, historical context, and sheer luck that serves as a powerful reminder of how even in the most rigid systems, the most astonishing deviations can occur, and it continues to inspire both seasoned numismatists and casual hobbyists alike to look closer, to question what's ordinary, and to appreciate the remarkable stories that can be hidden in the most unexpected places. And this is why the world of coin collecting remains so endlessly captivating, because it's not just about the coins, it's about the thrill of discovery, the beauty of imperfection, and the possibility that something truly extraordinary could be hiding in plain sight. So as you continue your own journey through change jars, coin rolls, and pocket lint, remember the story of the $380 million 2014 penny and let it remind you that treasure sometimes comes not from searching the ends of the earth, but from paying attention to the little things others overlook. And as always, we thank you for joining us, and we encourage you to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories that reveal just how valuable a simple coin can become when the minting process goes spectacularly, mysteriously, and magnificently wrong.